Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating philosophy of personal awakening. It comes from a piece by the writer Shui Feng, and it breaks down 8 distinct signs that suggest someone is making a shift away from a life based on what others think to one of true inner freedom. So, this whole journey really hinges on one central question. What does it actually mean to be awake in your own life? And we're not just talking about getting out of bed in the morning, right? This is about a deep, fundamental shift inside you. Now, the source material calls this female awakening, but you'll see pretty quickly that these principles could apply to absolutely anyone who's looking for a more authentic way to live. The core idea is this. It's a move away from needing other people's approval and toward growing your own inner freedom. That's the big concept we're exploring.
So where does a journey like this even start? Well, it begins by taking a hard look at the very foundation you've built your life on, what you rely on for your sense of security.
The first 2 signs of this awakening are all about this foundational shift. The first sign is to stop basing your life on your dependence on a partner or on power, or even on your family of origin. And the second sign? It's to start building a life based on yourself and on what the author calls a second homeland.
So what on earth is a second homeland? It's this idea that you consciously choose where you belong. You find your community, your true purpose, or a cause that you believe in, and you plant your identity right there. This is such a critical step because it's the moment you stop living an identity you inherited and start building one you've chosen for yourself.
Okay, so once that foundation of independence is starting to feel solid, the journey turns inward. The next 3 signs we're going to talk about, numbers 3, 6, and 7, are all about a deep reevaluation of your personal values. It starts with how you think about strength, worth, and beauty.
The third sign is a really interesting pivot. Instead of feeling like you have to project this rigid, tough exterior just to survive, the awakened person adopts gentleness and beauty as their motto. Now, this isn't about being weak. It's actually a form of quiet confidence, a way of moving through the world with grace instead of with force.
And that connects perfectly to the 6th sign, which is basically throwing out society's usual scorecard. You stop measuring yourself and other people by external things, like how much money they have or their job title. Instead, you start to define character by what's inside. Your value isn't about what you have anymore, it's about who you are. And this leads us to the 7th sign, which completes this little inner trio by redefining beauty. It's no longer some big competition fought with expensive clothes or flashy jewelry. Instead, beauty is expressed through a simple elegance, through the quiet confidence of just being clean, tidy, and well-kept. So if you pull these 3 internal shifts together, you can really see a clear pattern emerging, can't you? It's this very conscious move away from the external, that projected strength, the status, the vanity, and it turned toward internal qualities, gentleness, substance, and a graceful simplicity. So after you've rebuilt your foundation and you've started cultivating this inner world, these changes start to actually show up in your life as a powerful new kind of freedom. Freedom in your life, your emotions, and your relationships. This is where you can see a whole new way of engaging with the world. It's an approach to love, to connection, even to your own feelings that isn't so rigid or possessive. It's fluid. It's adaptable, it's present, and it's free. This whole idea of fluidity is captured perfectly in signs 4 and 5. The 4th sign is about letting go of that rigid social pressure. You know, the idea that you need one person until the end? Instead, you learn to flow with life's encounters. And the 5th sign is about feeling your emotions fully, but without letting yourself get trapped by them. It's also about expanding your idea of love so you can see it everywhere, in nature, in the mountains, in the stars.
And that brings us to the 8th and final sign, which is really the ultimate goal of this entire journey. It's the active process of shedding, of unloading, all the mental and societal chains that have been holding you back.
The text frames this as a really clear, deliberate process. You don't just sit back and wait for freedom to happen to you. No, you actively seek out joy. You pursue freedom. And in doing so, you consciously identify and then dismantle those internal and external shackles, whatever they happen to be for you. So, when we put all 8 of these signs together, what kind of vision for life starts to emerge? It's not about becoming a hermit or rejecting the world. It's something much more integrated. And this is really the key takeaway. This whole philosophy of awakening isn't about abandoning your life. It's about transforming your relationship with your life,
rebuilding it on your own terms, defined by your own inner substance, your own gentleness, and your own true freedom.
Which brings us to a final question, something for you to think about. As you look at these 8 signs, from redefining your independence all the way to shedding your shackles, which one feels like the biggest challenge for you? Or maybe, which one feels like the greatest opportunity in your own life right now?